What's up, everyone? Today we are diving into the wild world of Neo Geo shoot-'em-ups. These games came out guns blazing, looked amazing, sounded incredible, and then suddenly disappeared like your Wi-Fi during an online match. So hit the like button, smash subscribe, and let's check out 15 underrated Neo Geo shooters that absolutely deserve a comeback. Last Resort, 1992. Last Resort is a cyberpunk-flavored shooter that feels like an angry cousin of R-Type. You fly a sleek ship around a ruined future city while every enemy on screen tries to ruin your day. The real star is the satellite drone, which floats beside your ship and absorbs fire like a flying metal bodyguard. Once charged, it fires blasts so strong that bosses melt faster than ice cream in summer. The game looks beautiful even today, with gritty backgrounds, detailed explosions, and a soundtrack that sounds like an electronic apocalypse party. The problem was the difficulty. The game punished mistakes, and not in a cute oops way. More like, you blinked, start over. Still, that difficulty made victories feel amazing. Last Resort deserves a comeback with optional modern difficulty settings. Keep the style, keep the drone, keep the destruction. Just help out the casual players a little so the rage quits don't break controllers. Pulstar, 1995. Pulstar came from the same team that made Last Resort, but this one upgraded everything. Beautiful pre-rendered visuals, smooth animation, and enemies that explode in fireworks of pixels. The ship's charge shot can vaporize waves of enemies, and it feels fantastic every time it lands. The levels flow like a sci-fi action movie, complete with giant whales in space. Yes, space whales. The problem was the game's toughness. Pulstar can become chaos in seconds if you lose your power-ups. Many players got destroyed before reaching halfway, but if you stuck with it, the game rewarded skill and memorization, and boss fights felt epic. It deserves a comeback with new modes, maybe co-op, maybe online scoreboards. Pulstar was gorgeous and way ahead of its time. It could be a hit today if it showed up on modern consoles with a little extra accessibility. Space whales deserve a second chance. Blazing Star, 1998. Blazing Star is fast, flashy, loud, and addictive. It takes everything Pulstar started and adds huge explosions, voice samples yelling bonus, and every color known to humankind. The ships are unique, the weapons are fun to experiment with, and the game feels less punishing than earlier Neo Geo shooters. That made it perfect for newcomers. It's also famous for its wonderfully weird English voice lines. The announcer shouts things that sound kind of correct and kind of confusing. Players still quote it because it adds personality and charm. The series never came back after Blazing Star, and that's a shame. A modern remake or sequel with online multiplayer and unlockable ships would bring old fans and new fans together instantly. Blazing Star is one of the most stylish shooters ever, and it deserves another moment in the spotlight. Zed Blade or Operation Ragnarok, 1994. Zed Blade gives you customizable weapons. You pick a pilot, a ship, and your front, rear, and missile weapons, so you can build a loadout that fits your playstyle. Want a ship that shoots like a fire hose? Done. Want missiles that hit everything? Sure. The bosses are huge, and the soundtrack slaps harder than a dance club speaker. People slept on this game because the marketing wasn't strong, and it came out during a busy era. It wasn't the flashiest Neo Geo shooter, but it was fun, smooth, and satisfying. The difficulty is fair, and blowing through armies of mechs, tanks, and space blobs feels great. Zed Blade deserves a reboot with even more customization, new ships, and co-op. Modern players love building weapons and tinkering with loadouts. This game had that idea long before it became mainstream. Viewpoint 1992. Viewpoint stands out immediately because of its isometric view. Instead of a classic top-down shooter, everything is tilted at an angle. It looks like a sci-fi pinball machine mixed with a shmup, and it has a funky jazz-style soundtrack that makes every level feel like a futuristic party. The game is tough because bullets come at strange angles, and enemies sneak up from spots your brain isn't used to watching. But once you adjust, the game feels unique and stylish. The visuals still look cool decades later because the designers gave everything a smooth, clean look. Viewpoint deserves a comeback with modern 3D effects and maybe an easier beginner mode. The style, music, and gameplay make it too interesting to stay forgotten. A remake could introduce a whole new generation to tilted chaos. Twinkle Star Sprites, 1996. Twinkle Star Sprites is a shooter mixed with puzzle gameplay and competitive battling. You aren't just dodging bullets. You're sending attacks to ruin your opponent's screen. It's basically a shmup mixed with a fighting game, and it is pure chaos. Cute characters throw magical bullets, enemies explode, and a single mistake can send everything spiraling. The game became a cult classic, but mainstream audiences never saw how funny and addicting it was. It's flashy, loud, and silly in the best way. Matches feel like you're having a friendly argument powered by fireworks. A modern comeback with online multiplayer would make this explode in popularity. It's perfect for casual players and competitive players. Twinkle Star Sprites deserves to return as the party game of the shooter world. Captain Tomaday, 1999. Captain Tomaday is a flying tomato with boxing gloves. You punch enemies. No lasers, no missiles, just tomato fists. It is ridiculous and hilarious, and that is what makes it so memorable. You can volley bullets back, smack bosses in the face, and watch everything explode into cartoon chaos. The gameplay is simple but charming. Kids loved it, adults laughed at it, and it became one of those, wait, this is real games? The only downside was that some stages dragged on, and the joke sometimes stretched a little too long. Still, it had personality. Captain Tomaday deserves a comeback as a fun indie revival. Add co-op, more characters, and updated cartoon graphics. The world needs more flying vegetables throwing hands. Prehistoric Isle 2, 1999. In Prehistoric Isle 2, you fight dinosaurs with helicopters. There is no deep story needed. Dinosaurs show up and start wrecking everything, so you hop into a chopper and blast them into extinction again. Huge T-Rex bosses charge at you, raptors jump from trees, and pterodactyls fill the sky. The graphics and animations were great, but the game didn't get enough attention because arcades were fading. Some players also felt it was easier than older shooters, but that made it fun for beginners. There's something magical about dodging dino attacks while firing missiles like a Jurassic action movie. A comeback could be amazing. Picture modern effects, giant dinosaurs, co-op missions, and online scoreboards. Prehistoric Isle 2 deserves a return because dinosaurs and helicopters are a perfect combination. Alpha Mission 2, or ASO2, 1991. Alpha Mission 2 gives you armor power-ups that transform your ship. You don't just shoot, you evolve. Fire armor, lightning armor, laser armor. Each form gives special attacks that wipe out screens of enemies. It feels like a sci-fi dress-up game for spaceships. The challenge is that if you waste your armor, you are stuck with basic shots for a while. Players who learned how to manage power-ups loved it. Those who spammed everything suffered. But the strategy made battles exciting, especially boss fights. Alpha Mission 2 needs a modern remake with more armor sets, smoother controls, and maybe a story mode. It has the foundation of a big franchise. It just needs a developer to revive it and show how fun power-up strategy can be. Strikers 1945 plus 1999. Strikers 1945 plus brings fast action and World War II style planes that transform into sci-fi superweapons. You start with normal bullets and rockets, and then suddenly your plane fires lasers that could cut a battleship in half. It feels realistic for about 2 seconds and then becomes total anime chaos. This version didn't get as popular as the original arcade releases, but it played great, looked sharp, and had solid difficulty. Bosses transformed mid-battle, enemies attacked in swarms, and power-ups rained from the sky. A comeback with modern online co-op and score racing would fit perfectly with today's retro gaming fans. Strikers 1945 Plus has the quality and action to stand strong, even in 2025 and beyond. Ghost Pilots 1991. Ghost Pilots mixes World War II aviation with light bullet hell gameplay. You choose between 2 pilots on giant seaplanes. The levels scroll across snowy fields, forests, and oceans full of enemy fire. The game is slower than other shmups, but it has a cinematic tone. Explosions feel heavy, enemies fall apart dramatically, and the music feels heroic. Some players found the speed a little slow, but others appreciated the classic style. Bomb mechanics are powerful, wiping out whole screens and giving breathing room when everything gets overwhelming. Ghost Pilots deserves a comeback with faster movement and smoother controls. The war adventure presentation still looks great, and the atmosphere could shine on modern hardware. Imagine updated planes, co-op missions, and beautiful HD backgrounds. Aero Fighters 2, 1994. Aero Fighters 2 throws jets, missiles, bosses, and massive explosions across every inch of the screen. Each character has personality, from a ninja pilot to a dolphin flying a fighter jet. You read that correctly, a dolphin flies a jet. This alone deserves a reboot. The action is fast but fair, and the power-ups feel fantastic to collect. Bosses have silly transformations and dramatic entrances. The game never takes itself too seriously, which makes the chaos fun instead of stressful. Aero Fighters 2 needs a comeback with online multiplayer and maybe new characters. Bring back the dolphin, bring back the ninja, bring back the weirdness. The world is ready. Andro Dunos, 1992. Andro Dunos gives you 4 main weapons you can switch between at any time. Lasers, missiles, spread shots, you name it. Level design is varied, and enemies come at you from every angle. It feels fast and smooth, and mastering when to swap weapons keeps the gameplay exciting. It didn't get the praise it deserved at release because it was simple compared to flashier shooters. But today, people appreciate tight mechanics and clean gameplay. Andro Dunos actually received a sequel decades later, proving that fans kept it alive. A modern remake with more weapon upgrades, online competition, and new stages would make Andro Dunos shine again. It has the right foundation to appeal to both casual and hardcore fans. Ironclad, or Chotetsu Brickinger, 1996. Ironclad is a diesel punk shooter with chunky metal ships and giant mechanical bosses. Explosions look weighty, enemies break apart in pieces, and the art style feels like a comic book. The coolest part is that levels branch into different paths, so every run can be different. It didn't reach many players because it was exclusive to the Neo Geo CD for a long time, and that system wasn't common. People who did play it loved the presentation and the heavy impact of the weapons. Ironclad deserves a full remake with modern 2.5D graphics and online co-op. The branching paths and mechanical designs could create a huge comeback. It was ahead of its time and deserves more love. Neozexus, 2013. Neozexus arrived years after the Neo Geo era, but it captured the spirit perfectly. It's fast, colorful, packed with bullets, and has gigantic bosses that cover the screen with projectiles. The pixel art is beautiful, and the music pumps up the action. Many players missed it because the Neo Geo wasn't exactly mainstream in 2013, but those who found it loved the bullet patterns, enemy variety, and scoring system. It feels like a tribute to classic shooters while adding modern polish. Neozexus deserves a comeback on all platforms. Switch, Steam, PlayStation, anywhere people love retro shooters. It could build a huge community if given the chance. Marvelous verdict. These Neo Geo shooters brought creativity, challenge, and style that still hold up today. They just need a chance to return with modern features like online play and smoother accessibility. If you enjoyed this blast from the past, hit the like button, subscribe, and drop a comment telling us which game deserves a comeback first. Thanks for watching, and keep flying, firing, and dodging like a pro!